Hey, look kids, it's Mario is Missing for Super Nintendo from the software Toolworks. Wait, that doesn't sound right. Let's fix that there and just say, there we go, that's better. Nobody's gonna get that. Released in 1993 for the Super Nintendo, regular Nintendo, and even MS-DOS, all three being completely different games from each other, which was kind of a common thing back in the day. Mario is Missing is the first time players got to play as Luigi in a starring role, because I guess Super Mario Bros. 2 didn't count. So the story of Mario is Missing is as follows. Bowser has a castle in Antarctica and plans to melt the continent with giant hairdryers to flood the earth. So Mario and friends go to Bowser's castle, Mario falls into a trap and goes missing, and Luigi ventures into the castle while Yoshi waits outside because Yoshi doesn't like going into castles. You know, much like in Super Mario World. Speaking of Super Mario World, a lot of these sprites are actually just recycled bits from that flagship title. Even the receptionist in the tourist office is just a recolored Princess Peach. But I'm jumping ahead here. You have a hall of 5 doors. Each door brings you to a different city around the world, and your main goal is to recover the artifacts from the Koopa Troopas roaming around the city. There's about a dozen Koopas, but only 3 have the artifacts you seek. Once you claim the artifacts, you have to take them to specific points, and if you have the right artifact selected, you'll be given multiple choice questions to prove their authenticity. You learn about these items by talking to people, and they give you information regarding these things, as well as give you hints on which city you're in. Because you see, the game doesn't tell you where you are, you have to figure this out for yourself. So you claim an artifact, you take it to the correct booth, and you answer a couple of questions. You get one question wrong, you'll be forced to wait a period of time before trying again, which the game assumes you'll use the waiting period to educate your ass by talking to people about the artifact in question. Answer correctly and the item is returned and you get to see a picture of said artifact. Once all 3 artifacts have been returned to their proper locations, you'll need to guide Yoshi on the world map to the city you're in, so you can ride back to the pipe and scare off the Pokey blocking the way, and then you clear the city, and you do the whole thing all over again for, let's say, 14 more stages. After all the doors in a hall are cleared, you fend off against a Koopaling in a less than stellar battle. Bop it on the head a couple times, and you move on to the next floor and set up 5 rooms. The game has 3 halls to explore for a total of 15 different cities to venture through, and there's even a password system to resume your progress at a later time for whatever that's worth. So to summarize all that, you have a side-scrolling platform game of sorts, which plays somewhat like a stripped-down version of Super Mario World as far as controlling Luigi is concerned. You run by holding down the Y button, you could jump with the B button, you could hop on Koopas to kill them, and every few levels you'll fend off against a Koopaling in a somewhat inconsequential battle. And really, the action is just a means to an end with no real consequences. You don't die or get damaged for touching Koopas in the wrong place or anything like that. The main focus, after all, is on the educational portions, where you're roaming around the city, talking to people, bring up a menu to look up bits and bobs here and there. See, the MS-DOS version of the game was a point-and-click game, the perfect kind of game for computers back in the day, and the software Toolworks probably figured a format like that wouldn't work on the consoles, so they turned those games into side-scrollers, much like a traditional Mario game to give the kids some action, as it were. Again, the action means nothing in the grand scheme of things, it's just kind of there, but in fairness, for what little the game actually offers in terms of platforming action, the controls are actually quite solid. Playing, responding, and feeling almost as good as any Super Mario game that Nintendo would churn out. And if the software Toolworks wanted to make a pure Super Mario platforming game, like a proper, with proper levels and all that, they had a good base to build on, and I gotta give them that much at least. Honestly, this is already more than what the later Mario's Time Machine gave you, which is just a little room and a couple pictures per stage, and well, okay, that's being harsh. Time Machine did have those cool surfing levels, those were fun at least. But I digress. The main point of contention, as you could probably guess, is the educational portion of the game. The part where you gather artifacts and converse with people to learn more about the item and the city you're in before taking a 2-part questionnaire to return the piece. In theory, you're supposed to roam around, ask for information regarding the cities and the items you're carrying, and the information is logged into your computer for future reference. This is how you learn about stuff. It's not that bad of an idea in theory, provides some interactivity, and it's a little more involved than Time Machine, where Mario is just talking to some random stock image and quizzing the fellow on stuff that you'll promptly forget about and end up looking up the answers on the game facts. I mean, don't get me wrong, you'll probably do the same thing here, but then again, you really don't have to since the questions are multiple choice, and it's usually the same 2 or 3 questions that get asked each time. So, it's really repeated attempts, remembering all the wrong answers, and process of elimination pretty much eliminates the need for acquiring information. So it boils down to finding Koopas with the artifact, matching them up with the proper location, answering a bunch of questions to return the artifact, guide Yoshi on the global map to the city you're in, and exit the pipe to clear the city, and do this 15 times total. It's a situation where even the most cursory knowledge of a given subject matter is enough to get you by the game without really exploring the information contained within. You get passwords to save your progress here, so that's something, I guess. I suppose. I don't know where I was going with all that, but quite frankly, neither does this game, so... Mario is Missing is a fine enough looking game. It has recycled sprites from Super Mario World as far as Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, and the Koopas are concerned, along with some new animations tossed in, such as Luigi looking both ways before crossing the street, like a good pedestrian would. But Bowser and the Koopa Kids have new sprites that look goofy, which is probably what they were going for to begin with. The various cityscapes and backdrops look alright, adopting something of a realistic look long before Super Mario Odyssey would attempt such a thing. But the people inhabiting these cities... they exist. They looked better on MS-DOS, let's just put it that way. The audio is perfectly adequate, some recycled sound effects from Super Mario World, and even the music is just variations of that game's soundtrack, mostly variations of the overall theme from whenever you're in the city. Actually, I kinda dig the music here, and I can appreciate the attempts to make multiple remixes of that one track, because hey, if Mario World can get away with it, why not Mario is Missing? And they're good tunes, I dig them. Overall, Mario is Missing for the Super Nintendo is average fare for its day and an odd curiosity piece today. It's the bare bones base of a functional Super Mario game with a lot of educational bits, and while one side of things has some potential, the other side is just kinda sorta there and doesn't really offer much in terms of depth. Which is entirely up to you, but it does what it's supposed to do competently enough, and while it's not the most exciting or the most involved Mario adventure, in terms of overall quality, I've played much worse. Give it a shot for the sake of curiosity, but don't expect much in terms of edutainment value.